for you or the founder? What if you could remember that worst day you guys had?
It gets really depressing. Like we've tried everything. We've tried everything that as far as we know and nothing worked. Now what do we do?
अगर आज एक entrepreneur के पास 10 लाख रुपए हैं और वो कहेगा भाई मेरे 10 लाख रुपए ले ले और मेरा प्रोडक्ट रातों रात बेच दे, मेरी कंपनी में कुछ अमीर कर दे, तो वो क्या गलती है जो
My founders, my CEOs, my CTOs, they were doing everything. They were going on the calls, they were trying to sell, they were acting as a customer success person. You as a user are getting manipulated.
People who are from engineering background, वो जब किसी कंपनी में जाते हैं तो उनको स्टार्टिंग में ही लगता है कि इंजीनियर भगवान है, कि इंजीनियर्स ही सबसे मेन पार्ट है कंपनी का, बट दैट इज नॉट ट्रू. तो व्हाट डिड योर पेरेंट्स से कि शर्मा जी का बेटा तो TCS में लग गया है, इतना पैकेज लग गया है और तुम एक अननोन कंपनी ज्वाइन कर रहे हो?
तो ESOP is opposite of a time bomb. So it will blast, but in
अरे यार डेटा चोरी हो रहा है, इंटरनेट पे तो बहुत दिक्कतें हो गई हैं, तो पीपल डोंट अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट्स हैपनिंग बिहाइंड द सीन. ये सब ESOPs हैं जिसका 4 year वेस्टिंग शेड्यूल है, तो ये ट्रैप है या मास्टर स्ट्रोक?
That is a trap. First of all, you have to always come out of that mindset कि you are irreplaceable. Everybody is irreplaceable. पर ट्रिपल ऑफर हो तो
सोचो तुम्हारे हाथ में एक MNC का ऑफर लेटर है और दूसरे हाथ में एक स्टार्टअप का कॉल आ रहा है, तो व्हाट वुड यू चूज? 99% ऑफ पीपल विल चूज अ गुड MNC ऑफर एंड इग्नोर द स्टार्टअप, but only 1% of people will see that chaos is a ladder, chaos is not a pit, and that 1% is sitting with me. Hi Vansh, welcome to the podcast. So let's go straight to the beginning. You have done engineering, you have done ML, data analytics and all the works. There's a stable MNC offer on the table and still you chose to join a early stage startup. Why was that?
Thanks for having me, Shubham. So see, a lot of people ask me this question, and even I have asked this question to a lot of people, but that particular answer is very specific to an individual's situation. So let's say after 4 years of college, you are again in this sort of a situation where you have to choose one or the other. So most of the people will actually go after stability, क्योंकि सबकी life situation same नहीं होती. किसी के लिए stability ज़्यादा important होती है क्योंकि the kind of struggles they have seen over their entire lifespan, even going through that 4 years of college is a lot to them. So they just require a good a good stable job where they can contribute in terms of whatever they have learned over the last 4 years of college, and at the same time उन लोगों के लिए that continuous money flow, that work life balance काफ़ी important है. So but for me in that situation मेरे लिए I was able to visualize my entire life when I was thinking about joining an MNC. You can just look at that entire pipeline that you'll go through. So you'll be basically starting at a junior position, then in a couple of years you'll hit a promotion. You'll have a constant, you'll have very consistent, constant appraisal cycles. So you know where you'll be in the next 5 years or 10 years. So that is something that actually scares me. So I like the irregularity of life. I'm a believer. So I wanted something that, that will still give me hope कि maybe something might happen in the next 5 years that might just change my entire life.
So I get you are a believer, but parents are not. तो what did your parents say कि शर्मा जी का बेटा तो TCS में लग गया है, इतना पैकेज लग गया है और तुम एक अननोन कंपनी ज्वाइन कर रहे हो?
See, that is again a very tough conversation to
like
have.
You sit on dinner tables and lunch tables and फिर guest पूछते हैं कि कौन सी कंपनी में हो and they have never heard the name of the company.
तो फिर मुंह से यही निकलता है कि एक स्टार्टअप है बैंगलोर में. So in this situation actually convincing parents was a very not very tough, but it took a lot of effort because उनके लिए भी ये समझना काफ़ी डिफिकल्ट है कि यू हैव एन ऑफर फ्रॉम अ कंपनी जिसके बारे में सबको पता है, उसकी स्टेबिलिटी सबको पता है, उनके पास रेफरेंसेस है उनके रिलेटिव्स के कि वो भी वहाँ पे काम कर रहा है, उनका कोई और नोन पर्सन वहाँ पे काम कर रहा है, उसके जैसी किसी कंपनी में काम कर रहा है. बट क्योंकि उनके लिए भी ये स्टार्टअप कल्चर इज प्रिटी न्यू, तो उन्हें नहीं लाइक वो चीज़ नहीं बिलीव कर पाते वो लोग कि how will you scale to that particular level after joining a company nobody has even heard about. So in that situation also कि मतलब मैंने जिस तरीके से conversation करी थी अपने पेरेंट्स से, वो ये था कि मतलब मैंने उन्हें इसी तरीके से समझाने की कोशिश करी कि like even I don't come from a job oriented background, so I come from a business family, so that monotonous life in job even they knew about it, that is why they didn't go towards it. तो मैंने उसी तरीके से उनको समझाने की कोशिश करी कि maybe this is not my company but this will help me just jump 10 years of corporate ladder.
Also you come from an engineering background, but currently the role that you serve is of a strategist of a company which is not very big, but the impact of the startup is always very big, and this kind of role has like huge opportunity loss also if you take some wrong decisions. So what was the biggest reality check when you came from a BTech engineering role, data science role, and then you pivoted through strategy?
So I still do a lot of it. So in my current job role मतलब मैं काफ़ी सारी चीज़ों में involved हूँ. And I believe in that methodology of being a jack of all trades. So I like being being involved in mostly like wherever I can, basically. जहाँ पे मैं अपने आप को इन्वॉल्व कर सकता हूँ, मेरे को इन्वॉल्व करना अच्छा लगता है. आई लाइक टू नो अबाउट ईच एंड एवरी एस्पेक्ट ऑफ एन एंटायर कंपनी, हाउ दैट कंपनी रन्स. तो फॉर अ वेरी अर्ली एज स्टार्टअप दिस इज एक्चुअली अ रियली गुड एडवांटेज फॉर a person joining the startup also and for that startup itself. तो उस स्टार्टअप के लिए उनके पास थोड़ा रिसोर्सेज कंस्ट्रेंट है, मनी कंस्ट्रेंट है, वो हर चीज़ के लिए अलग अलग बंदा नहीं हायर कर सकते. बट व्हेन यू जॉइन दैट स्टार्टअप यू हैव दैट अपॉर्चुनिटी टू एक्चुअली यूटिलाइज एंड लर्न अबाउट एवरीथिंग. सो दैट इज समथिंग दैट आई ट्राइड टू डू and which has turned out really good for me. तो उस केस में भी I would say कि like I have like my core skills are with data, and more or less I've tried to utilize my data skills only everywhere in terms of research, my engineering background to think through the product angle, to figure out how to build a particular prototype. And that data expertise actually helps a lot in operations and revenue related stuff also. So that is something that actually helps me strategize, contribute.
And you said one thing that you like being involved in everything, and I think this is something that you can only have luxury in a startup. Because I have friends in Amazon, Google, and when I sit with them and I talk with them and I tell them, bro, we have this new customer, Zomato is our customer now, Paytm is our customer now, or some random company, I tell them this, and they are like, why are you so excited? Like, it's not your company, they are not customer of your company. But the people who are working in small teams, they empathize with that culture. They know all the teams and how hard they are working.
Exactly.
And they know the angle from which we have, made those turns. हमने कौन से जुगाड़ किए हैं इस डील को अनलॉक करने के लिए, और कितनी मेहनत गई है इसके अंदर. So that struggle, I think that is something that cuts you apart from people who are working in big firms. Exactly. Like you are not just a small part of 10,000 people team. You are a part of 10 people team who is raising impact at next level every day.
Correct. So there is a sense of empathy, right, when you're working in a startup. So let's say you are an engineer, right? You're a developer, but while working in a startup, you have seen how hard is a person trying to just get that one phone call or that one Google Meet with the right set of clients. What kind of how much value does a customer feedback hold in terms of the entire production cycle. So all these things actually like it helps you collate better with
Correct.
each and every department, right?
Correct.
It helps you understand their constraints,
Yeah.
their core responsibilities,
Yeah.
and how your small decisions are affecting their day-to-day work.
Correct.
So this is something that like an MNC can never teach.
एंड ऑल्सो पर्टिकुलरली पीपल हु आर फ्रॉम इंजीनियरिंग बैकग्राउंड, वो जब किसी कंपनी में जाते हैं तो उनको स्टार्टिंग में ही लगता है कि इंजीनियर्स भगवान है, कि इंजीनियर्स ही सबसे मेन पार्ट है कंपनी का, बट दैट इज नॉट ट्रू. व्हेन यू वर्क इन अ स्मॉल सेटअप यू सी कि यार एक कस्टमर सक्सेस वाला बंदा इज गेटिंग ट्रैश्ड बाय द कस्टमर सो मच फॉर समथिंग यू ब्रोक, the engineer broke, and then sales team is selling something so hard that you didn't even build right. You know it was built wrong, but still sales people will go out and they will try their best to sell out that thing. And I think those things, and then people like you who are building a strategy of what we should do next, where we should put budget, how we should think about investment, how we should think about funding, how we should think about getting clients. मुझे लगता है ये चीज़ें वो हैं जिनका there is no binary 0-1 नहीं है कि ये करोगे तो ये हो जाएगा.
Exactly.
ये रूल्स बहुत ज़्यादा टफ है that most of the engineers never understand in their starting of the career, and even after that मुझे लगता है जो बड़ी कंपनी में लोग हैं ना वो still they can't relate to this. जिस कंपनी में 20,000 लोग हैं उनको क्या पता किस टीम में कितना पेन पॉइंट है.
Right. So even I started as an engineer, तो मेरे को भी like in terms of that, you know, like you used to think कि nothing is as tough as this.
Correct.
Right, you know it all. You
Yeah.
had that you know it all attitude.
Yeah.
You always think कि मैं अभी कोड कर रहा हूँ, but if I step into sales or if I step into any sort of client facing role, I will just nail it.
मैं तो एस कर दूंगा क्योंकि मेरे को तो नीचे का सब पता है.
So but when you actually do,
Yeah.
हालत खराब हो जाती है. You like you're out of words.
Yeah.
You can't even speak properly.
Yeah.
You're fumbling, you're stammering. You don't
Correct.
know how to deal with that.
Correct.
So that is a skill that like I have learned to respect in people, and I know ki it's not something
Yeah.
everybody can do. And apart from that, like this particular cycle of this particular learning curve that I had, right? So because I joined very early, so right after the founding team, I was the one who got hired in this my current company, and I've seen my founders, my CEOs, my CTOs, they were doing everything. They were going on the calls, they were trying to sell, they were acting as a customer success person, they were acting as the like they were basically doing everything.
Yeah.
So that is something that actually like opened my eyes ki to be a founder, to be at that particular stage, you have to be open to everything. You have to be open to criticism. You have to be open to getting yourself involved in each and every minute thing related to your business, related to your company. Then only you can grow.
So being a person who is direct in touch with the founder and the founding team and leadership team, being the member of core team of a company, what in your perspective are the hardest days for the teams? Like what are the hardest days for you or the founder? What if you could remember that worst day you guys had?
Sometimes, you know, like not just founders, as a person, I think a lot of people will relate with me here, that sometimes you just hit a plateau in your career, right?
Correct.
When you are just like, you feel like there is nothing else to learn. You have spent some time trying out 10 different things, but now there is no, you don't have an 11th thing to try.
Correct.
That is when it gets really depressing. Like we've tried everything. We've tried everything as far as we know, and nothing worked. Now what do we do? How do we get out of this situation? What do we do next? So at that particular stage, I've seen people get stressed, and I'll tell you, like if you see the top leadership stressed, if you see your founder stressed, that reflects really bad on the entire company then.
Correct.
Because everybody gets scared. Everybody is at that particular situation ki now who will actually come and help us? Who will decide ki this is how you come out of this particular situation? So, but eventually everything comes back. Everything realigns itself. You just have to wait for the right moment to strike. So it automatically comes.
So there is this one thing that I always relate when someone talks me with this conversation, pulls me in this conversation, is something that I stated in the beginning of the podcast also, that this is a chaos. And most people think that chaos is a pit. We will step it and we'll fall. But only some people realize that chaos is a ladder. You have to climb it. You will fail. The ladder might break. You get a new ladder. But at the climb, when you see the chaos ends at a point, and then you have climbed that ladder, and only those who climb will see, okay, this is the world from here. But this is the thing that most 99% of people will fail to envision at first, and they will just jump from it. Okay, this is a pit, we won't enter in this shit. So these are the things that people take chances, and these are like, again, asymmetric returns that you get in life from such events.
Now, even let's say in your case, right? You joined your company when your company was at Series A.
Yeah.
Now your company recently raised Series B.
Yeah.
Now that feeling, that particular time frame when that was happening,
correct,
it reflects upon the entire company, and there is a sort of vibe कि सबको अच्छा लग रहा है, सबको feel हो रहा है वो एक achievement.
Yes.
So that is something that you will never get in an MNC.
Yeah, and also
right?
like when I started my career, I never thought about coming to startups and all. I started with Capgemini.
Yeah.
Safest option, 3 लाख का पैकेज, महीने का 20,000. मुझे लग रहा था कि मैंने अनलॉक कर लिया है, अब इसके बाद मेरी लाइफ सॉर्टेड है, मुझे और कुछ चाहिए ही नहीं लाइफ से. बट देन आई रियलाइज लाइक आफ्टर 6 months की यार 10,000 लोगों की टीम है, ठीक है, उसमें से इफ आई डू समथिंग, मेरी टीम के 4 लोगों के बाद उसका इम्पैक्ट किसी को पता ही नहीं. कैपजेमिनी इन इटसेल्फ व्हाट इट इज डूइंग आई विल नेवर नो, व्हाट द कंपनी इज डूइंग आई विल नेवर अंडरस्टैंड. तो व्हाट इज द मोटिव ऑफ डूइंग दिस? तो आई चोज कि आई डोंट वांट टू वर्क देयर. आई वांट टू वर्क इन अ कल्चर वेयर आई नो दैट अगर मैंने आज ये कोड लिखा तो कल ये कस्टमर वो यूज करेगा और उसका रिएक्शन परसों ही होने वाला है. तो आई वांट टू सी दैट लाइफ साइकिल ऑफ इवेंट्स हैपनिंग. लाइक इफ आई एम पुशिंग दिस कोड, दिस विल बी द सेटिस्फैक्शन टू दैट पर्सन. या फिर अगर वो बंदा आज अपने लैपटॉप पे सिर मार रहा है कि अबे यार ये क्या है, तो मैं रातों रात जाके उसका इशू उसको हेल्प करूँ कि ओके वी आर अ स्मॉल टीम, दैट्स द बेनिफिट, वी कैन जस्ट हेल्प यू राइट अवे. तो मुझे वो थोड़ा लगता है कि वाई वी शुड नॉट जॉइन ह्यूज कंपनीज एंड experience this hustle culture.
Exactly, like whatever you do, उसका अगर feedback वापस नहीं आ रहा,
correct,
कि वो कैसा था, मैनेजर का feedback doesn't matter. कहीं किसी relevant
but
user
your manager is founder, it matters.
Of course it does. So what I was saying is कि जैसे अब आप whatever you did, right, whatever implementations you made, अगर एंड यूजर से उसका फीडबैक आपको नहीं पता चल पा रहा, देन हाउ वुड यू इम्प्रूव नेक्स्ट टाइम? हाउ विल यू नो व्हाट टू बिल्ड नेक्स्ट टाइम? राइट, दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट.
सो लाइक you have been deep in this from inside. What's the most expensive mistake you see founders are making right now in this? So I'll just tell everyone that Vansh is in Amazon ad space, the marketplace and budgeting and bids and all the things that happen behind Amazon. तो सिर्फ ऐसे ही नहीं होता. लाइक इफ यू आर सर्चिंग ऑन Amazon and something coming up, there is a huge algorithm, huge thing, like there are huge companies set up, huge dashboard, data analytics, everything happening in the background. तो in that perspective I want to ask, what is the most expensive mistake? like अगर आज एक entrepreneur के पास 10 लाख रुपए हैं और वो कहेगा भाई मेरे 10 लाख रुपए ले ले और मेरा प्रोडक्ट रातों रात बेच दे, मेरी कंपनी में कुछ अमीर कर दे, तो वो क्या गलती है जो वो करने वाला है?
ज़्यादातर लोगों को ये चीज़ें पता नहीं है, बट अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल स्टिल बिलीव इन दिस कि अगर तुम्हारे पास अंधा पैसा है तो यू जस्ट हैव टू गेट इनटू द मार्केट, यू जस्ट हैव टू एडवर्टाइज एंड यू विल बी अ किंग ओवरनाइट. दैट इज नॉट हाउ इट वर्क्स. सो Amazon एज अ प्लेटफॉर्म कभी किसी भी नए ब्रांड को अगर वो डोमिनेट करना भी चाहे, इट विल नॉट गिव इट 100% visibility.
Okay.
You are just burning money most of the time when your traffic is not even there, when the relevant traffic is not even there. So even if you come with that sort of a perspective, so any D2C brand founder, right? Now, like the market has been changing. So even especially after this Shark Tank era, right? A lot of D2C brands are coming into the market. Now some of those brands are coming with that are bootstrapped. They are taking loans, trying to build a brand, and some are even coming from a very established offline brand which has a lot of presence offline basically. So what they're doing is they're starting a separate brand just to hit that Gen Z crowd or something like that. But they have a lot of money.
Okay.
They have a lot of money that they have generated over these last 2-3 decades, right? So what they try to do, they just try to come into the market. They just try to burn their money. They just try to dominate it. They are just from day one itself. They are spending 1 lakh rupees in a day on Amazon or any other marketplace. So that is not how it works. That is not how you actually achieve that share of voice in Amazon's ecosystem.
Okay.
So what you'll basically have to do is you'll have to go in a gradual manner. So what really happens in the initial phases, when you start bidding, right? When you start targeting a keyword. So you think, let's say, if the average cost per click is coming around, let's say, 20 rupees.
Okay.
I'll just go with 50 rupees and nobody can like take away my placement, my position. So that is again like the wrong thing to do. So you're just unnecessarily spending 50 rupees for something which you could have achieved in 20 or lesser.
Okay.
Right? Now that amount of money you're already burning. At the same time, you're not even able to maintain the placement throughout the day. So Amazon as a platform, Amazon will always prefer ki their customers are able to reach the right set of products. So if a new brand is coming which has no data backing, people actually like this, there are no interaction instances with the audience segments on Amazon, ki people have clicked on it, people have spent their time on their product pages or something like that, then Amazon is not going to give you all the top placements just because you're burning money. So they will still try to give the benefit to an established brand rather than a brand who's constantly trying to come in. And so you'll have to be strategic in your approach. You'll have to go in a gradual manner. You have to start spending. I'm not saying you cannot go aggressive or you have to start very small. You can start spending, but as long as it is fulfilling what you're trying to achieve. So just try to go and dominate the placements during the top peak hours of the day. Usually people get online and try to purchase things after office between 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. something. Just try to dominate the placements, dominate the bids on the keywords during that particular time, rather than just unnecessarily spending even during early morning hours or something like that.
So many people just like me and everyone, like mostly who are not in this space, they'll just open Amazon and search for Nike shoes, or they will just search for shoes, but they don't know behind the scenes इतना ज़्यादा like placement and ये and वो बहुत कुछ हो रहा है.
Exactly.
To make them show जो भी उनको दिख रहा है first, second, third, fourth पे.
You as a user are getting manipulated. You're getting manipulated into believing a brand story that is being forced upon you. So that is advertising, I guess, right? So it's all about ki how do you manipulate a market without them realizing it. Meta is really good in that.
Okay, and I think most people are using Meta more than Amazon for advertisement because उनके placement उस platforms पे है, Instagram पे है, Facebook पे है.
Meta is a platform that, you know, like most of our time is going on Meta, right? Most of our time is going on Instagram, and you know the personality, you know what kind of content a person is consuming, and that is actually what makes it easier to target. So for example, if let's say you have started watching gym reels and all, you started going to the gym, you started watching content related to diet and stuff, then obviously like any brand who's selling whey protein will start targeting you, and you will give it a thought, right? That is how it works.
And I think most people don't even know that they are just feeding their algorithm by every click, every text they are typing, everything they are even speaking, because most of these apps have data training microphone access also. तो लोगों को पता ही नहीं, वो पूरे दिन अपना ही एड्स एल्गोरिथम ट्रेन करे जा रहे हैं, उनको बेटर एड्स आई जा रही है. I personally don't mind it because मुझे चीजें खरीदना पसंद है.
It easier for you, right?
मुझे चीजें खरीदना पसंद है. तो अगर मुझे सजेशन मेरे सामने सही टाइम पे आ जाएगी तो मुझे उससे प्रॉब्लम नहीं है.
Correct.
And but there is this anti hype also. Mostly लोग इंटरनेट पे व्हाट्सएप पे पता नहीं क्या ऐसा बनाते हैं कि अरे तुम्हारा डेटा चोरी हो रहा है, फेसबुक तुम्हारा डेटा चोरी कर रहा है. I mean that
वो डेटा तुम्हारे बेनिफिट के लिए ही यूज हो रहा है. अगर फॉर एग्जाम्पल तुझे टेबल खरीदना
हाँ.
है और तेरे को अगर कोई सामने से लाके सजेशन पोर्टफोलियो खोल के दे रहा है, तेरे को प्रॉब्लम क्या है?
मतलब मोस्ट पीपल डोंट इवन थिंक कि वो सही है, और दे जस्ट थिंक कि अरे यार डेटा चोरी हो रहा है, डेटा चोरी हो रहा है, इंटरनेट पे तो बहुत दिक्कतें हो गई हैं. तो पीपल डोंट अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट्स हैपनिंग बिहाइंड द सीन्स. Okay, so coming back to our point of joining a small company versus a big company, in a startup, whatever you are doing is directly, hitting the target or missing the target. So it absorbs you. You do a lot of mistakes. You carry a lot of burden. It really, it overwhelms you. You have to stay on weekends to cover up for something. तो हाउ डज इट फील अगर तुम्हें आज कोई कह दे कि यार तुम्हारे पास एक बहुत बड़ी ऑफर है, वीकेंड्स पे भी ऑफ है, बट कंपनी बहुत वैसी है, थोड़ी मोनोटनस टाइप, बड़ी कंपनी है, मोनोटनस नहीं है आज से, बड़ी कंपनी है, योर रोल वुड नॉट अफेक्ट यू अलॉट, तुम चिल कर सकते हो, तो वुड यू टेक दैट? और अगर तुम्हें जीरो से स्टार्ट करना होता तो तुम दोबारा इसी पाथ पे जाओगे?
See, like what I believe in is chill हम ऐसे भी कर रहे हैं.
हाँ, ये भी थोड़ा मिथ है, लोगों को लगता है स्टार्टअप में लोग तो मजे ही नहीं करते.
हाँ, लाइक दिस इज अ मिथ कि लोगों को अगर ये लगता है कि अगर कोई स्टार्टअप में काम कर रहा है तो वो सैटरडे संडे सुबह शाम दिन रात लगा हुआ है बस लैपटॉप लेके. दैट इज नॉट द राइट ट्रू. दैट इज नॉट ट्रू. सो व्हाट हैपेंस इज कि देयर आर सर्टेन डेज कि अब कुछ बनाना है, कुछ चाहिए तो वो चाहिए. इफ देयर इज एन इन्वेस्टर्स मीटिंग ऑन मंडे एंड समथिंग has to be ready by then you'll have to work on the meeting on the weekends. But most of the cases, like not every day is the same, right? So like there are months ki 2-3 mahina you're just not even working 5 days a week. You're just working 3-4 days. But those 3-4 days you're like working really hard, but eventually you have 2-3 days where you are not even bothered about anything.
तो लेट्स सपोज एक MNC किसी एम्प्लॉय को 30%, 20%, 10% ऐसा हाइक हर साल देती है. MNCs का कल्चर होता है 10% हाइक, 15% हाइक फिक्स्ड है, बट हर साल मिल रहा है. बट वही उसी में अगर तुम स्टार्टअप में हो तो आई डोंट थिंक तुम्हें पता भी है यार अगले साल मिलेगा भी नहीं मिलेगा. तो हाउ डू यू सी दैट?
Like MNC में, like जैसा मैंने स्टार्टिंग में बोला था, like you can just write down your entire life when you're working in an MNC. तुम्हें पता है कि तुम्हें कितना अप्रेजल साइकिल में कितना हाइक मिलेगा. Even if you switch, what are the market standards? MNCs never go above their market standards, right? But maybe like working in a startup, you might be up for an appraisal of 100% next year. So that is something that can again like is a chance that you're taking, but it can turn out really good for you also. Because क्या होता है ना कि startup में in the initial phase you're compromising a lot in terms of your finances and your overall money flow. But there is a point of sustainability that you reach जहाँ पे तुम्हारा जो भी डिपेंडेंसीज है, लाइक योर EMIs, योर रेंट एंड एवरीथिंग, यू आर एबल टू फुलफिल दैट, एंड ऑन टॉप ऑफ इट यू आर एबल टू सस्टेन इन टर्म्स ऑफ your basic requirements, not basic, like even your luxury requirements, but you're able to sustain. Maybe you're not able to grow after that particular point क्योंकि वो तुम्हारी कंपनी के लिए is too much of money to bear for an employee who has been there for a very long time. So they expect that employee to understand these situations, right? But maybe if things go the right way, after 2 years you will be able to just surpass that entire 5-year cycle of appraisals and switches compared to an MNC person.
Correct.
Now in this particular situation you'll have to like you are again in a dilemma, but as long as you are able to sustain in terms of your finances, you're able to you've reached that particular point where you're able to fulfill your needs and your requirements, then it is a risk worth taking. अगर 2 साल के लिए तुम उस particular point से ऊपर नहीं बढ़ पा रहे हो, but तुम्हारा लाइफ चल रहा है, you're able to take the trips, you're able to buy whatever you want, so it's okay. 2 साल के लिए you can take that risk.
And I also think like MNCs can make you pay EMI forever. बट अगर स्टार्टअप्स के तुम्हें ESOPs मिलते हैं एंड दैट स्टार्टअप गोज समवेयर, ESOPs अगर लिक्विडेट हो जाते हैं, यू विल हैव फक यू मनी ओवरनाइट. तो वो चीज तुम डिनाई करते रहो, बट दैट इज ट्रू. लाइक देयर आर स्टोरीज ऑफ हंड्रेड्स ऑफ पीपल हु हैव क्लेम देयर ESOPs एंड RSUs ओवर द इयर्स. तो वो EMI और रेंट में ना लोग फंस जाते हैं और फिर भूल जाते हैं एक्चुअल वैल्यू क्या है.
तो ESOPs is like I would say opposite of a time bomb. So it will blast, but in a better way, like in a beneficial way.
Correct.
So you don't know the potential of them currently, but maybe your company is reaching at that particular point where it's getting acquired, or maybe it's getting listed. Then you will have that fuck you money overnight. So that is something that these MNCs will never be able to.
Correct. So before we move on to the last section of our podcast, which is a very interesting game we'll play, there's one last question, that what is that one mistake according to you that every individual in their 20s right now is trying to make to earn quick money by seeing something on YouTube or somewhere else?
So if you look at a lot of courses or MBA specializations, most and even a lot of reels on Instagram or maybe some videos on YouTube, most of them will tell you, like when they are trying to showcase that you can earn passive income, you can be financially free, they will always try to divert you towards drop shipping.
Oh yeah, that's a very the word that never goes out.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been in since a decade.
Since we were kids, we have been hearing drop shipping, but again, it is a good approach. But people have that misconception that drop shipping is something that, let's say you found the right product, you listed it, you started running ads, and you're just sitting back and relaxing, and you're making money overnight. So this is not how it works. So e-commerce space like Amazon or Flipkart or even your own Shopify website, it requires a lot of effort. One wrong planning in terms of inventory, pricing, advertising, or anything related to that is gonna take away your margins overnight. Yeah,
but I think this word is so, like, it's a trap, I would say. A lot of people fall into this by the, like, I know about this Masters Union is a big name now, and I have people who joined it, and they joined it for just one thing. I don't know how the course was or the course was not. I don't know about that, if it was good or not, but they joined that MBA alternative thing just because they were teaching them how to do drop shipping. So सिर्फ ड्रॉप शिपिंग सीखने के लिए उन्होंने पूरी कोर्स फीस भर दी 3 साल की, वो जो खुद अपना उतना ही पैसा लगा के कर भी सकते थे.
Exactly. So drop shipping is not something that can be taught. Drop shipping is something that comes from experience. जब तक तुम कहीं से चीजें सप्लाई नहीं करोगे, you will जब तक तुम मार्केट रिसर्च नहीं करोगे, you will never get to know. क्योंकि there is not one playbook that works in all the categories.
Correct.
This market is very very specific to categories. कोई चीज supplements category में चल रही है तो हो सकता है वो किसी और category में, electronics category या किसी और separate category में ना काम करे. That same strategy. So this particular market is very specific to category, and you get that on the basis of your first hand experience and you start implementing things. So drop shipping is actually a good option, but what people have a misconception about it, it's very easy. It's just like you are supplying some particular product from one place and you're not even holding it in your warehouse, and you're just giving it to the end user. That is not how it works.
I think one of the core problem is that lot of people in this generation, including I would say me, try to consume everything from internet. They will never step on the ground to discuss the real problems, to get the real feedback, to see the real vendors, to try out the real products. They will just call people, get the vendor onboarded, call people, get the customer sentiment. They will never go out and see the reality. So half of them, I think, will go wrong there because they have never stepped foot in the market and they're trying to be the next billionaires.
Right. So that is something like people should, I would say, rely on their experience rather than somebody teaching them. So drop shipping is as difficult as any other business.
People try to make it a part-time job, but it's a full time money,
Yeah.
emotion,
That's
psych,
what.
everything is invested in that.
Correct.
Cool. So we move to the last section of our podcast, which is going to be a quick game. तो तू स्ट्रैटेजी का बंदा है तो लेट्स टेस्ट योर कैरियर स्ट्रैटेजी. हम खेलेंगे ट्रैप या मास्टर स्ट्रोक. मैं तुझे रियल लाइफ कॉर्पोरेट या स्टार्टअप सिनेरियोस दूंगा, तो 3 सेकंड में बताना है कि एम्प्लॉय के लिए एक ट्रैप या स्कैम हो सकता है या फिर एक मास्टर स्ट्रोक जीनियस मूव हो सकती है उसके कैरियर के लिए. सो सिनेरियो 1, एक नया स्टार्टअप तुझे 23 साल की एज में सीधा वीपी ऑफ स्ट्रैटेजी या हेड ऑफ ग्रोथ का टाइटल दे देगा, पर सैलरी मार्केट स्टैंडर्ड से 40% कम देगा, पर बाकी सब ईसॉप्स हैं जिसका 4 ईयर वेस्टिंग शेड्यूल है. तो ये ट्रैप है या मास्टर स्ट्रोक है?
That is a trap because see, no matter until and unless that idea of that particular startup is yours,
Yeah.
you don't have the capability to hold any leadership position at that particular age.
Correct.
Because as a founder, अगर कोई founder है और वो किसी तीसरे बंदे को वो head of whatever department वो position दे रहा है without actually seeing their work, without actually being there when they have contributed something in that particular company, they are just taking a rash decisions that will also continue even after you join. So maybe one wrong hire can bring down the entire company. And at the same time, if you are going after position at that particular age, you will be able, you will hit that particular point ki you will start, believing in that position so much ki you will stop thinking like a problem solver rather than a person who always has somebody to blame.
Yeah.
Ki this guy did not do the right amount of work, or he messed up something.
Correct.
So that is not the right decision to take at that particular age.
Yeah, makes sense. Now coming to scenario 2, एक सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर अपने कोडिंग आवर्स का 30% टाइम मार्केटिंग, प्रोडक्ट, ऑप्स टीम के साथ उनकी स्ट्रैटेजी समझने में लगा देता है. उसकी स्प्रिंट वेलोसिटी थोड़ी कम हो जाती है, पर उसको पूरा धंधा समझ आ जाता है कि ये कंपनी है चल रही है. तो ये ट्रैप है या मास्टर स्ट्रोक?
This is a master stroke, I would say, but क्योंकि in this particular situation अगर डेवलपर्स को पता है कि आपका प्रोडक्ट मार्केट कैसे होता है, what exactly is the problem it is solving in the market, what are the sentiments of the end user, that optimizes that entire development cycle. So next time अगर वो किसी similar feature या किसी similar segment पे काम करेगा तो उसके दिमाग में subconsciously चल रहा होगा कि exactly अगर let's say I take a leap at certain point कि चल ये वाली चीज़ छोड़ के बाद में सेकेंड वर्जन में डाल देंगे, या अभी नहीं करते, एक दिन और लग रहा है भले ही, कोई बात नहीं, नेक्स्ट टाइम करेंगे. बट उसको उस चीज़ का अगर इम्पोर्टेंस समझ में आ रहा है कि वो एंड यूज़र के लिए कितना अट्रैक्टिव है या उसके लिए कितना यूजफुल है, तो वो ये डिसीजन लेने से
करेक्ट
अवॉइड करेगा.
हाँ, आई मीन एम्पैथी टू कस्टमर मेक्स एवरी डिपार्टमेंट वर्क बेटर.
एग्जैक्टली.
So that is a mandatory thing for any role you are in.
Right. This is a product-oriented
Yeah.
company. Like most of the people are
Yeah.
working in a product-oriented company. So, while working in a product-based company, you have what is that product for?
Yeah.
Who is that product for? For the end user.
Correct.
So without knowing their sentiments, no decision is the right decision.
Okay, so the last scenario. तुम अपना स्टार्टअप रिजाइन कर रहे हो एक बेटर अपॉर्चुनिटी के लिए, तुम्हारा करंट फाउंडर पैनिक कर रहा है और अचानक से तुम्हारी सैलरी सीधा डबल करके काउंटर ऑफर देता है तुम्हें. तो ये ट्रैप है या मास्टर स्ट्रोक?
This is a trap, I would say, क्योंकि see, when you're working in a startup, right, like first of all you have to always come out of that mindset कि you are irreplaceable. Everybody is irreplaceable. So if you can do it, 10 other people can also do it. You just have to find the right person. So as soon as you make an offer like that, or a threat like that to your own startup, to your own company, then that founding team will go under the impression ki anyway you want to leave. So for the time being, because until before they let you go, they have to find a replacement for you. So they will they are just ready to pay you double for that particular time frame, but eventually they will replace you.
ऑल्सो आई थिंक एक बार ट्रस्ट टूट जाता है कि तुमने छोड़ने की बात कर दी
Right.
और तुम्हें नहीं मिला था हाइक इसलिए तुम छोड़ रहे हो, तो उसके बाद इट्स टफ टू गो बैक अगेन एंड एक्सेप्ट दैट ऑफर. अपना भी यू शुड हैव सम सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट ऑन द
Yeah.
टेबल.
पर ट्रिपल ऑफर हो तो
मैं तो भाग जाऊंगा. Okay, so I think that's a wrap. Thanks Vansh for this episode and see you later in the next one.
या मैन.
Bye. Okay guys, अब तुम लोग बताओ, where are you standing at in your career? Are you sitting in that 10-story building MNC office with full AC, 10 ping pong tables, 20 coffee machines जिसमें espresso shot हमेशा खराब रहता है, या फिर you are sitting in a startup where Tuesday को prod फट गया and CEO is running after you? So which one would you choose and why? Tell me in the comment section and I will reply to all of them, and if you want I can refer to some of them. Okay, this is Shubham Seth signing off.